Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of the great millstone, who to rule and teach well. Also, peace and blessings, salutations, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham, to you sincere Akim, pushing this gospel to the four corners of the earth, laboring in His truth in all diligence, righteousness, and sincerity. And to the few sisters, the Akwath, listening and learning as well, to you I say, Shalom. So back in the news again with more MOTB prophecy. So as you see right here, this is from AZ Central. Arizona State football game will test facial recognition system experiment. And this ain't no experiment. This is what they're getting ready to do. This is what they're getting ready to roll out, because as we've been saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, these devils, these elites, they're getting ready to bring in this new system, and it's all going to be predicated upon going digital. And eventually what they want to do is be underneath the skin, to give you a microchip, all right, in your brain or in your right hand, and that's going to be used to pretty much do everything. It's going to be used to track your carbon. It's going to be used to, clock in and out of work. It's going to be used to do various things, especially buy and sell, as outlined in Revelation 13 and 16 on down. So, as it is written in Habakkuk 2 and verse 3, that the vision is yet for an appointed time. And that appointed time for these things to come forth is now. Because you have individuals that have come on brothers' comment boards and ignorantly say, well, y'all have been saying this for years, like I've been hearing this for X amount of years and ain't nothing happened yet, right? Scoffers, right? But look, now these things are happening. It's not that we can make it happen, but at the end of the day, this is the patience and the faith of the saints that the words of the Heavenly Father will come to pass in a said measure at the appointed time. And now we see these things are coming to pass. All right, so we are rejoicing. We are ecstatic that we see that prophecy, the things that, starting with our elders and apostles on down, have been speaking of. These things are coming to pass in this time now, and it's a beautiful time to be alive. But this is for you Akim and Akwath out there to apply yourself accordingly, knowing that these things are coming. You need to be serious. You need to gird yourself up in the spirit to deal with what's coming. And this is what this ministry is all about. Building yourself up in the faith of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, so that when these temptations come, you will be able to stand firm in what you have learned and what you believe according to the Heavenly Father's word. All right, so right here, let's see if this video will play. If not, it's all good.
27-24, Jesus Gomez with a 43-yard walk-off field goal. It wasn't pretty. ASU got 3 turnovers. That's the good.
Yeah, we ain't got to get into that. So it says, after 2 sold-out home football games and record student turnouts, Arizona State officials are looking for ways to ease entry to jam-packed Mountain America Stadium. So the school is turning to facial recognition technology for help. And you need to listen, we're dealing with the devil here, okay? And this ain't the first time, because they acting like this is the first time that the football game has been sold out and it's been a lot of people coming through. But they've always found out a way to get through it before, right? But now this new solution is, we're having these sold out games, a lot of traffic coming through. So now we need facial recognition, right? Because this is going to be beneficial to help us cut down on stadium traffic and all this and that. And really where they're going with this is, initially it's going to be a separation, all right? Because they're going to, prompt you to sign up for biometrics, to pretty much put your, either get your eyeball scanned, get your finger scanned, get your palm read, right? And those that do that, they'll be given, call it VIP access to get into these games. So you won't have to do the whole ticket process and, checking in and scanning this and that. you'll just be able to scan your eyeball and just walk on through. And then those that don't do it, you're going to have to go through the whole tedious process of getting into the game. And it's not that it's tedious now, but they're going to make it that way so that you opt into the biometrics. You know, that's why it says in Genesis the 25th chapter that what Esau was a cunning hunter, right? And cunning goes into artful deceits, being subtle, you know, just being very crafty, all right? And this is what all of what being a cunning hunter entails, because this is already a snare to get you caught up in this beast system. But those that are ignorant and don't know, they're going to fall for it. And their judgment, which is outlined in Revelation 14, is going to happen to them eventually. So this is why we ought to be aware of the devil's wiles, because he's always going to try to make it seem like, just like I put that compilation video up yesterday, the first clip in that compilation was they was pretty much sitting at the table and they was pretty much going into how the elites want to implement the CBDCs and all this and that. But the guy was saying how they're always going to push these agendas that they want as something good, as something beneficial, and they'll put reasons out there to justify why they want to do this, as to why it's a good measure to implement. And it's the same thing here. So continuing on, ASU will begin using the technology on a trial basis for student ticketing as early as an October 25th game, right? So they testing it out. And they've had this thing ready to go for years, but we're at the point now to where, as we've been going into through the spirit, these devils, they're really at the point where they're about to usher in this new agenda. You know what I'm saying? That's why you had, they had just put that gold statue of Donald Trump holding the Bitcoin out in front of the White House. What do you think that means? That they're about to move into a new system. And ultimately, this all entails the fourth industrial revolution. So let's go into that real quick, right? What is the fourth industrial? Okay, here we go. Trying to get the point out of this. See if we get it from here. The fourth industrial revolution, also known as 4IR or Industry 4.0, is a neologism describing rapid technological advancement in the 21st century. The term was popularized in 2016 by Klaus Schwab, the WEF founder and former executive chairman, who asserts that these developments represent a significant shift in industrial capitalism. Okay, so you see there robots in a grocery warehouse, and we'll get into what they're doing with the robots now in a minute. Augmented reality, illustrated understanding of the Internet of Things in a battlefield setting. And this is ultimately going to lead to the Internet of Things, which you see here, the Internet of Bodies, you know, just everything being interconnected into the grid and you being able to be tracked and traced. You see, Amazon Go, a cashierless store. A part of this phase of industrial change is the joining of technologies. Okay, so this is all about merging man with technology, man with machine, basically being a cyborg. See? So this is why they're implementing the biometrics, and they're doing it on college campuses because the younger generation, they pretty much been groomed already to accept this technology. And on a college campus is a good testing ground to roll these things out anyway, because you got a lot of young people, and that's really who they really want to cater this new wave to anyway, right? So yeah, the joining of technologies like artificial intelligence, gene editing, to advanced robotics that blur the lines between the physical, digital, and biological worlds. And that's the thing. These devils, they don't want there to be, they don't want anything to be cut and dry like how the Most High created it. You understand? You see, because the scriptures tell you that Yahweh Bashmel Shai is not the author of confusion. but the devil is, okay? This Edomite, he is the author of confusion, man. So this is why he's trying to blur the lines of everything. He doesn't want a man to be a man, like he don't want a woman to be a woman. He don't want a dog to be a dog. See, he wants to confuse shit, man. And this is why you got transformers out here. This is why you got people, changing gender and marrying trees and marrying cars and all this other madness, man, because this society, which is run by the wicked, run by the devil, it breeds confusion. Because if you do things by the order that the Most High set up, there is going to be no confusion. But when the devil is in charge, that's all you have. And people in this time now, you see, are more bugged out, are more weird than ever. And this is only going to add to that, right? So he's blurring the lines, so that's pretty much it. That's the point, merging man with technology. That's what this is really all about and goes into. So they trying to do this as early as October 25th, which is less, a month away. Mike Meaton, Senior Associate Athletic Director and Head of Ticketing and Business Analytics at ASU, believes the system will be welcomed by students and eventually all fans. And that's what they banking on. And even if it's not welcome, which more than likely it will be, because again, these people have been groomed and, they've pretty much been indoctrinated to believe that anything technological is good for human advancement, which that couldn't be further from the truth, especially when you got the devil in charge of it, man. Hell no. All right, it's all a snare to set you up and ultimately get you destroyed. We feel really confident about it. As a student, if you enroll in this program, you walk through the gate and walk by the scanner, and it will turn green without ever having to take out your ticket or your phone. See, it's all about convenience. It's all about selling you on the idea of making things more easier, making your life more streamlined. All right. And again, these are the wiles of the devil. He says students will have to opt into the system where you can scan into the game just with your facial profile, just like how some of the airport stuff is now. And see, right now it's optional, right? Right now, this is going to be something that you can optionally opt into. You don't have to do it. But very soon, it's going to be mandated. You know what I'm saying? These devils going to mandate it because I was just checking out the news today, and it's like today alone, you've had so many events happen. Like it's crazy, man. I want to get into some stuff, but Lord willing, later on tonight, I can do it. If not, Lord willing, tomorrow. But man, there's just so much going on. So many black swines, just so many deletions happening, man. But these devils are using that to forward this right here, right? Because right now is convenience, but in a short while or very soon, with all the stuff that's going on, it's basically going to be a safety measure. And Esau going to put laws out there to say, well, you must abide by this law. Okay, you must use your biometrics because all these schools are getting shot up and all this and that. So we need to know who's who. Because if anyone come into this game and they're not scanned or they're not accounted for, and something happens, then we won't be on top of it. So this is going to be a safety measure ultimately. And let's get that in Daniel 8. Daniel chapter 8 and 25. And it reads, matter of fact, let's get 25. And through his policy, and this is speaking of Antiochus Epiphanes, the king of the Seleucid Empire during the time of the Maccabean revolt. He pretty much passed laws against the Jews, to come against them and justify himself taking them down. Okay, so it's speaking of Antiochus, but we use it for Esau because it's pretty much the same spirit. What was then is now. Daniel 8 and 25, and through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. So you see, through his policy, which are his laws, his legislation, these different measures that he's gonna pass and things like that, right? He's gonna cause craft, okay, this crafty council, by his laws, he's gonna implement his crafty council. Because these things have already been devised years in advance, man. You see? But the way this devil works, when you read Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, it tells you the wicked reasoning within himself. When you read down into the chapter, it tells you that, the wicked basically says to let our strength be the law of justice. You see? So when these devils go to implement their tyranny and to implement their unrighteous draconian decrees, they use the laws to do it, because a law is like an absolute thing. Like, you can't argue with the law because it is what it is, right? So that's how these devils roll. But nonetheless, it's all, these are not righteous laws, okay? These are laws based on wickedness and ultimately taking advantage of people, right? That's why it says he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Like I said, eventually this is going to be a peace and safety measure. Right now with this thing, it's like a convenience thing, but these devils are going to come and say that we must have this, all right? That we must have this because all this violence is happening, and we need to know what's going on, all right? And we need to know who's checking in and checking out of these venues, even though they already have that information already. They already have it. So what's the need to scan people eyeballs and scan people face and all this type of shit? Well, it all fulfills prophecy. See, it all fulfills prophecy of Revelation 13 and 16 on down to implement the mark. This is where it's all going. And as we always say, that all roads lead to the MOTB, man. Okay? Especially in this time now, all roads lead to the MOTB. So, yeah. ASU would be among the first college programs to use facial recognition technology as part of its ticketing system. Florida implemented a similar system in August for its 25-26 football season. Yeah, there's a spirit, because I ain't even read this far into it. But it says Arizona State will start with fast lanes for students who opt into the program and gradually open the system up to all fans. So you see, those who opt into the program, they're going to be given, basically, like I said, VIP access to enter into these games. Not have to wait in the line, you know what I'm saying? They can just scan their face and just walk on through. And once everybody else see how easy it is to get into the game, everybody else going to sign up for it. So this is what these devils do, all right? They divide like that, you know what I'm saying? They have one section for those that are opted in and one that don't. You see, same thing with the Real ID they did back in May. All right, those that have the Real ID, you can just go through the TSA like usual. Those that don't have the Real ID, they make it hard for you so that you do opt into it. See? Let me see. Yeah, the facial recognition ticketing is just one step Mighton and his team at ASU are taking to make entrance to games more efficient. With mobile ticketing, claimable student tickets, and now a trial facial recognition system in the future, getting into games could be quicker than ever. Okay, so you get the point. Now, check this out, okay, because robot umpires are coming to the MLB. So you see that this fourth industrial revolution is in full gear. All right, these devils ain't wasting no time because they know that their time is short. Pursuant to Revelation 12 and 12, the devil cometh unto you with great wrath, for he know that he have but a short time. So they're not wasting no time, man. I mean, you see, they're implementing the facial recognition, and it's not only going to be relegated to college. Like, there was an article that came out last year. I remember, I think it was the Atlanta Hawks. They was experimenting with the facial recognition and things like that. So very soon, this is going to be the norm across the board. All the sports venues, all the clubs, you know, any place where you have like a big gathering of people, they're going to implement these measures because, again, it's going to be what? Peace and safety. That's going to be the justification to do this. Understand? So these robot umpires are now coming to the MLB, just like how now they got the robot dogs. You know, they gonna have robot police soon to come out. You know, we've gone into the lesson showing you that this is a gradual, that they're gradually moving towards phasing out human beings in these positions, and moving towards AI and robotics. So this is from New York Post. Robot umpires are coming to the MLB. Check it out.
The Joint Competition Committee is meeting today virtually, Tuesday. And the big news that is going to come out of that almost certainly is that we're going to get the automated ball strike system challenge for next year, for 2026. It's an 11-person committee. There are 6 owners on the committee, 4 players and 1 umpire. And the 6 owners are key. It means that MLB has a majority. The commissioner is very much in favor of the automatic ball strike system, which has been tested since 2021 in the minors. It became regular in AAA in 2022. You might have seen it in spring training this year. You might have seen it at the All-Star game this year. Most of the players are very familiar with this system now. It would be 2 challenges a game. The only people who can make the challenge are the pitcher, the catcher, and the hitter. You'll get familiar with this if you aren't already. It's a tap on the head. It's got to happen quickly. You can't look to the dugout. You can't use video for this. You got to turn to the umpire, give this if you're the catcher, hitter, or the pitcher, and say, I want that pitch challenged. If anyone's seen a tennis match that uses that kind of ballistic tracking system, MLB will be using the same thing. It will show on the scoreboard whether the ball is in the square or not. The square will be set by the height of each player as it was done at the All-Star game. 2 challenges a game. If you're right, you get to keep the challenge. If you lose it, down to 1 challenge, lose it again. No challenges the rest of the game. It hasn't seemed to really impact pace of play. It does seem to be popular. Fans like to look up on the scoreboard and see if it's going to be a ball or strike. I'm sure there'll be some controversy about it early next year. There's controversy on every issue now. But I think robot umpires are here, and they're going to be part of the 2026 season.
And you see who's at the forefront of this, right? ESO, in particular, the small hats. MLB tests robot umpires ahead of possible integration by 2026. Automated ball strike system is being rolled out for spring training. Players have 2 seconds to challenge calls and 2 chances per game. If successful, system could be used for the regular season by 26. Automated ball strike system is being rolled out for spring training. Okay, same thing. The Major League Baseball, MLB, robot umpires won't be rolled out for every game this spring, but they will be in play for Friday's matchup between the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. All right, so they already going to do this coming Friday. So again, these devils are not wasting no time. It's called the Automated Ball Strike Challenge System, or ABS. Think of it like football. Referees make a call and coaches can challenge it for review. There's still a home plate umpire, but now players can challenge ball and strike calls using a computerized system. The batter, pitcher, or catcher simply tap their helmet or cap to challenge, but they only have 2 seconds. If they challenge, the pitch graphic appears on the scoreboard and broadcast, and the umpire updates the count. The MLB says this takes about 17 seconds. So you get the point. All right. This system is here, man. And by 2026, a lot of things are going to come in, are going to come into play. A lot of laws are going to be passed. A lot more executive orders. And remember Trump, when he first came in, the first thing he did, like on the first day, was this dude signed like 250 executive orders the first day that he came in. And none of them benefited the American people. See? So, we're definitely at that time where, privacy is speaking loud and clear, okay? Let's get Revelation 13, right? Revelation 13 and Revelation 13, let's start at 14. All right. and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword, which is speaking of the Western Roman Empire, okay, which has come back in modern day NATO and the EU, and that image is speaking this, to this very day, okay, pretty much this modern day, what you would refer to as the Western world, Europe, America, Australia, that would be referred to as the Western world or Western civilization, because what? It sprang out of Greece and Rome. And when you go into the history, we got lessons going into it, but when you go into the history, this is basically Western Rome revived, Rome 2.0, right? And did live, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And you have doctrines out there that say that the image of the beast speaks to white Jesus or Cesare Borgia, which that's part of it, but that's not really like the whole fulfillment of the image of the beast. When you go into the image of the beast, it's basically how Rome will be revived in the last days. Okay, like you have all the same customs of Rome come back here again. The same holidays, like the same deities being worshipped and everything like that. So when you go into you get a deeper understanding of what the image of the beast speaking is all about. Understand? White Jesus is a part of that, but there's a deeper understanding to it. Also, in these last days with the AI coming into prominence as well, this is also going to be used to give life to the image of the beast, because these devils are going to do a lot of miracles with this AI. Now that they got deep fakes, they got they can set it up to where they can fraudulently put you in a frame, doing a crime or something where you was never at, and AI can replicate your voice. It can create a, what do you call it, like you can basically create like a false image of yourself and pretty much apply it to anything. So that's what this devil is going to use to deceive the masses in these last days. AI is going to be a big part of that, to be able to go out and deceive, right? Verse 17, Salakia. Yeah, I'm tripping. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. When you go into that word mark, let's go into that real quick. All right, Strong's G5480. Okay.
Strong's G5480. Charagma.
So the word there for mark in the Greek is charagma. All right. When you go into the outline of biblical usage, it says a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Okay, which there's not, this is why you brothers, you got to be up on the blue letter, because it does go off, all right? Because we know that there is not just one Antichrist. There's not just one man that's going to just come out the woodwork and just start doing all this wickedness. Because if you want to say that, well, there's many wicked and evil men that are in a position of rulership on this earth. You got Klaus Schwab, you got Gates, you got Trump, you got Bezos, you have all of the elite bankers, So if you want to say that there's one anti-Messiah, which all it means to be an anti-Christ or anti-Hamashiach is to be against the Messiah. So atheists by default, they're all anti-Christ. Muslims are all anti-Christ. Christians even, plantation Christians, So anybody that is against Hamashiach Yahushai is an anti-Messiah or an anti-Christ, okay? So it's not just one man, but there's a spirit. The scripture tell you that there's a spirit of Antichrist that is in the world. All right. If you deny that Yahweh Shah died and rose, you know, and rose again, then you're an anti-Messiah, okay? Because you are against the anointed. So that's all it means. The mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. Okay, so what they're going to do is this mark, right? Let's go back. Revelation 13 and 16 again, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so this is going to be something that's going to go in you. All right, and when you listen to the rhetoric that's came out of the West from the likes of Yuval Harari and Klaus Schwab himself, you know, they've openly said it, like they've let it be known already that the ultimate goal is to surveil underneath the skin. All right, you also had Aaron Russo, which was a whistleblower that came out years ago and, you know, echoed that same statement. All right, the end goal is to what? Get everybody chipped. All right, because biometrics, what they're doing now, once you get the chip, it's all going to be streamlined. Everything about you is going to be on that chip. All right, you can just Google Sweden microchip, and they already got a whole system. Like pretty much the whole government of Sweden is running off the microchip already, because they were pretty much like the first adopters to implement that technology in everyday life. But it's coming to America. You know what I'm saying? They about to roll it out in the EU real soon, Australia, places like that. And it's going to become the norm. They're going to mandate this thing. Right? And as it says in 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right? So you ain't going to be able to buy or sell. You ain't going to be able to go to no sporting venues or concerts or whatever. Restaurants, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't opt into the system, then they gonna shut you out from being a part of the system. And you can look back to 2020, the beginning of the COVID crisis, right? What, you know, they pretty much did the same thing, because that whole thing was basically a you know, foreshadowing or a test run for what they really want to implement now. You know, because they had something at that time called the key to the city, where if you got your juice, you know, then you were pretty much given VIP access to be the first to get in the venues and things like that. People was losing their job because they didn't want to get the juice, and people folded and they got the juice. And turns out now that they said that they repealed all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't even had to get it. If you would have stood firm on your faith and said, no, I'm not going to take it, because, hey, brothers, we ain't take that shit, man. And guess what? We were just fine, okay? We ain't lose our jobs. We wasn't bugged out. We wasn't strung out. We was just okay. You know, but these people that went and took it for fear of losing their job or whatever, now they got the serpent venom inside them. And very soon, you know, because Esau, once these rebellions start picking up heavy and, you know, people get to taking up the sword against the elites, that, you know, that's when these devils going to release a frequency and start dropping a lot of these people out here. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the nanoparticles. And matter of fact, I ain't even going to, you know, get that deep into it. But the point is that there's going to be technology. And this also goes into the fourth industrial revolution, to where these devils are going to cause you, okay? They're going to cause you to receive this thing. And the way they're going to cause you is by making you lose your job, which we see is happening right now. Okay, cutting off access to food, cutting off access to healthcare, cutting off access to housing, you know, cutting off access to jobs, and pretty much everything that this society entails, buying and selling. And if you can't buy and sell in this world, then you basically have nothing, okay? So that's going to be how he's going to cause you to opt into this system. And he's going to use the technology that we see out already, the Elon Musk Neuralink, which is going to go inside the brain. And they have different brands of the hand chip, Wallet More, different other brands and things of that nature, to where they're going to insert this thing underneath the skin. And that's how they're going to be able to completely control you. All right. So this is what all this is all about. You know, so through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Oshai, Lord willing, Salaki, Lord willing, this was edifying. The Rakah Kadash. And, stay tuned. Be back with more later, Lord willing. Shalom.